Today we're breaking down the 6 most common mistakes brands make so that you don't have to. But that's not all. We're also dissecting the proven strategies top performing creators use to win and avoid those mistakes entirely. Now I know these strategies work because I've personally implemented them to get my clients billions of views and hundreds of millions of followers over the last 20 years in social media. And yes, without wasting your time any further, I have the awards to show for it. Stick around to the end and you will also have the 3-part fix and roadmap that 1% of brands use to win. After studying over 1,000 brands across YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and beyond, I found something wild. 99% of them aren't failing because their product sucks. They're failing because they're breaking one of a few invisible rules of brand building that no one teaches. But, of course, I'm here to give it to you. They confuse content with marketing. They confuse views with value, and they confuse branding with storytelling. But there's a reason the top 1% keep winning, and I'm gonna share real examples, creator roasts, surprising lessons you won't see coming, and the exact fixes the winners use, so that you can use them too today. So by the end, you'll have a framework to go from why is no one buying to building a brand that prints money while you sleep. Let's get into it. Mistake number 1. Misaligned product audience fit. Let me introduce you to Paire, an Aussie brand making sustainable performance-driven socks. On the surface, just socks, but under the hood, a quiet revolution. These socks are built with Cool Blend, trademarked merino and organic cotton to regulate temperature and fight odor. Most brands would lead with fabric tech, but Paire didn't. Instead, they positioned their product as the socks that outwork your day: gym, commute, brunch. Their audience didn't want better materials, they wanted fewer sock changes. But here's where most brands mess up. They sell a product, not a solution. And therefore, if your content doesn't reflect the pain your product solves, you're building in the wrong direction. Still not convinced? Well, imagine a viewer scrolling and seeing 2 posts. Post A: our socks are crafted with merino wool and feature Cool Blend tech. Post B: never carry backup socks again. Paire keeps you fresh from sunrise to long haul flights. Which one stops you? That difference? It's not fluff, it's money. So the fix: align every asset to the moment of relief that your customer wants. That pain point. Make it scream in every hook. Brand building doesn't start with your product. It starts with what people Google at 3 a.m. in the morning. And if you can match that search with a solution, yeah, you're golden. So mistake number 2, selling features, not transformations. Let me share another rising brand, Mallory Leckey, a creator painting handcrafted insect-themed tank tops. Now, Mallory isn't just selling tanks, she's selling belonging to a weird and wonderful niche of nature and bug lovers. Her TikToks go behind the scenes of each painting. The caption: every bug I paint is from a DM I got from a real customer who loves them. That's not product, that's identity. But the twist? Most small brands are doing the opposite. They show off their manufacturing, their supply chain, their shipping process. Therefore, they bore their customer because your audience doesn't want efficiency, they want emotion. They want to feel like the main character, and Mallory gives them that, one painted tank at a time. Here's a trick. Next time you write product copy, answer this: how will owning this change how someone feels about themselves? That's your angle. So the fix here: sell the emotion, the ritual, the identity, not the object. Okay, so mistake number 3, misunderstanding the funnel. Let me tell you a story about Nanushka, a sustainable fashion label from Budapest. When they launched, they didn't push product. They published brand diaries. They shared the founder's story. They talked about garment philosophy, minimalism, and heritage. But the audience wasn't bored. They were captivated because what Nanushka was really doing was staging desire. And therefore, when they launched their first collection and opened their first store, it didn't feel like a sales push, it felt like a payoff. Here's what most creators and brands get wrong. They want a viral video today and a Shopify sale tonight. But what they need is a warm-up phase. Just like a movie needs exposition, your funnel needs context. So the fix? Your funnel isn't a line, it's a story. Act 1, who you are and the tension that your audience feels. Act 2, the discovery and the struggle. Act 3, the resolution, i.e. your product. Every post should move them one act closer. Okay, mistake number 4, branding without positioning. Let's talk about Misfits Market. They took twisted carrots, bruised apples, and the food big grocery throws away and made it sexy. But they didn't lead with discounts, they led with defiance. We're rescuing food from the trash, do you want in? And therefore, the customer feels like a rebel, not a bargain shopper. And that's the shift. Positioning is not what your product does, it's what it means to use your product. Here's another example. Look at Liquid Death. They're not selling canned water. They're selling punk rock hydration for people who hate yoga mums. So the fix on this one is to own a problem, a point of view, or an enemy. Then infuse that into everything. Packaging, copy, visuals, tone. Make your brand feel like a side people choose in a story. Mistake number 5, treating content like a billboard. Most creators post like they're working for QVC. Big drop coming Tuesday, use code flash sale, and then they wonder why the algorithm isn't showing their stuff. Well, let me show you a smarter way. Graza, the viral olive oil brand. Their social is pure chaos, meme edits, POVs from the bottle, Twitter replies turned into reels. But every post is rooted in one truth. Olive oil belongs in culture. Therefore, their audience doesn't just buy the product, they participate in it. So the fix here is to treat content like the top of your funnel, not the end of it. It should stop a scroll, spark a conversation, and build narrative. And only then invite the click. If you want conversions, create curiosity first. Mistake number 6, there's no feedback loops. Here's a big one that most brands ignore: iteration. They build in a vacuum. They guess what headline will work. They tweak packaging based on vibes. But the smart brands test relentlessly. Take the LVMH prize. Each finalist goes through mentorship and critique before they ever hit scale. Therefore, they learn more in 6 months than most D2C brands learn in 6 years. Here's what that could look like for you. Send your sales page to 3 strangers. Ask what confused them. Post 3 different hooks for the same video. Measure the winner. DM 10 customers and ask why they bought. The fix here is to build your brand like a scientist. Assume nothing and validate everything. Your customer holds the answers. You often just have to listen. So based on what we've just learned, the 3-part fix that 1% of brands use to succeed: nail the problem, find that moment of pain that people actually feel, not the one you think they feel, and if you solve that pain, they will listen. Next, craft the content loop. Your content doesn't need to go viral, but it needs to go deep. It should grab attention, teach something unexpected, create emotional payoff, and hint at the product. That's how you turn attention into action. Then, engineered perceived value. If you want to charge $200 for something that your competitor sells for $20, well then you better make sure that the story is worth $200. Show the journey, stack the proof, make the offer feel inevitable. But miss any one of these and you're invisible. Therefore, it's not optional. It's foundational. I've helped creators and brands go from 0 to 8 figures using this exact breakdown. So if you want more content like this, I'm going deep every week, pulling apart the psychology, storytelling, and systems behind brands that actually convert. Drop a comment if you want your brand roasted next, and if you're building something real, something you know that deserves more reach, subscribe. You're in the right place. Because the truth is, you don't always need more views, you often just need more conversions. And once you understand how to turn pain into proof into product, the whole game changes.